Welcome to episode 27 of the Morris InterVarsity Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. We hope you enjoy the episode, and let's get started.
Well, hello, audience. Welcome to the Morris InterVarsity Podcast. I'm Lydia, and today I have a very special guest with me.
I'm Joseph.
And today we're going to just talk about Joseph's testimony, what he does in IV, how he got involved, and we're just going to have a great time. So, welcome to the podcast, Joseph. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, he's kind of a pro at this because he did this all last year, but now the roles are switching. But yeah, I was so excited to have you on today, and I'm so excited to actually learn about who you are, your testimony, and I don't think I've ever had that conversation with you, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot, but
Okay, brace yourselves, buckle up, because we're going to have a good conversation. So one of my first questions I wanted to ask you was, how would you describe yourself as Joseph?
I would describe myself as a follower of Jesus Christ, somebody who tries to strive for Jesus, and I'm just a sinner like anybody else, but I'm somebody who has hope, hope in something greater, which is Jesus. And yeah, I'd say that's who I am. That's the way I try to live now, and yeah, I just try to do my best, really. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Awesome. Um, and the next very important question is, how did you become born again, or like when did you become born again? What was that process like for you? And yeah, what kind of turned you on to Jesus?
I'd say I've like always been Christian.
Mm,
I grew up in a Christian household, so all I've ever known was
mm,
like Jesus, like Christianity. So yeah, I don't think there was ever like a specific moment where I felt like I like wasn't with God.
mm,
Like I think God has like always been with me, and I guess it's like debated and you know Christianity, but like I was baptized as a baby or
mm,
whatever. So yeah, I've never felt like God was never there. I guess like looking back, I feel like I've seen that God was always working in my life and that God was always there, and then I've always believed like growing up that like Jesus was the savior of the world and that
mm.
he truly was the son of God. I mean, he is the son of God, and yeah, I've always grown up believing that. And but I think like definitely in recent years I've um like strived for Jesus more. Like I've like realized, okay, like if this is truly real, then I need to live like it is, right? I need to tell people about Jesus. I need to be openly Christian. I need to be open about my faith and like just go out and like tell the world, right? Like the Great Commission. And yeah, so I don't know if there was ever this like moment where I was like, okay, like I feel born again.
Mm,
I think it's always like I've always kind of grown up in the ways
mm,
of the Lord, I'd
mm.
say. So, um, yeah, and like I mean, I think like I can get into my testimony like into the other questions, but yeah, I think I don't know if I've ever felt born again, like because I think I've always been like born again in a way,
Mm.
if that makes sense. I don't know.
So, like for me, when I was really little, like 4 years old, my parents told me that, oh, you were born again at 4 years old. You accepted Jesus in your
Mm.
heart. But I don't remember that moment. But I remember um, as a young kid, preschool, kindergarten, I loved Jesus. Like I knew who he was. Like he was my best friend. And so over the years, like I've grown in my relationship. I really have put him first. I was baptized over the summer. And so um even though I don't quite remember that specific moment, the sanctification process started from that day, every day, um, to fall in love more and more with Jesus. And I knew who he was. Like I was like, I know Jesus, I love God. And so it wasn't It wasn't like, oh, I made that decision and like I didn't know what I did, you know. Um, so from that day forward, I knew that I was truly a child of God. So that's probably similar with you. There's a
Mm,
lot of people that have like this Saul to Paul transformation where it's like all of a sudden like boom, like they are that was like they have a moment where they like fall on their knees like and ask for forgiveness and know that they're a sinner and they truly um become born again in that moment and they repent. um but for like some of us that grew up in the church that we just became like that's just became who we are, if that makes sense. So everyone, what's so unique about everyone's testimony is it's their unique testimony. Like everyone has a different way that they um uh come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. So I would say that was our testimonies are probably similar. Like I wasn't baptized as a baby, but
mm,
that doesn't save you, right? Like that was, something that your church did.
mm.
Um but I guess with that, what has been the biggest lesson that the Lord has been teaching you in your life?
Lean on him,
Hmm.
rely on him.
Can you explain why that is?
Um, do you like want me to get into my testimony right now, or like, do you want to save that,
I
or
mean, yeah, that would be great.
yeah? So, you were talking about like a Saul to Paul. I feel like in a way I kind of had like a Saul to Paul, but I was always believed. But I think um, like there was this you know moment in my life where like everything did change like drastically and dramatically. Yeah, so in like fall of 2020, so I was starting school, and I mean you might have heard this before, but
Mhm.
yeah, was starting school up here at Morris, and then I actually went back home for a couple weeks because like everything was like online. So I like
Oh,
so
yeah.
I went back home for a couple weeks. I
COVID.
don't know if I was like planning on coming back up to Morris like to finish because literally everything I had, like all my classes were online, and they kind of like they kind of I feel like they kind of tricked people to get on campus in a way. They're like, oh, we're gonna have in-person classes, but then they all switched to online classes in
Mm.
that fall of 2020. But yeah, I went back home, and um yeah, I just started to like stuff just started to feel really like weird, well, like with my heart actually.
Mhm.
So yeah, like my I think like around September like 23rd, like maybe of like 2020, like I don't know, I'm
Exact day.
pulling dates, but yeah, like my heart just started to feel weird. Like I don't know, it was like never felt anything like that in my life. It was like um and then it started to get like slowly worse too, um like basically I would get like palpitations, right? Like I would feel like my like heart is like beating
Oh.
like beating out of my chest. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like it was like gonna explode or something.
Mm.
So like I would like wake up and like I would like feel like that. I'm like what's going on, you know? Yeah, so like that happened. Like at first I was like I literally thought I was gonna like die actually.
Mm.
Like I think for like a good 2 months, like and like kind of in the fall of 2020, like I thought I was gonna like not be like on Earth like and like that next year,
Oh my
like
gosh.
so I thought like at the age of like 18, like I thought it was like over,
Sorry.
like yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, so that happened, and then so I mean, of course, I went to go, or I actually went to the ER a couple times. They just told me like it was stress, like you're good, because like they would do like an EKG, or they would check my like heart or whatever, like however you do that, and they would tell me like, oh, like everything looks good, like
Mm.
you have a healthy heart, like you seem healthy, like so I went to the ER a couple times, and they couldn't really do anything for me. So, I mean, basically, I kept trying to search for an answer. Of course, like I was, doing that with my family. Definitely put my family through a lot of stress at that time. I
Mm.
think just because, like, I mean, they were confused.
Mhm.
Yeah. So eventually, they checked my thyroid levels,
Mhm.
and they found out my thyroid was hyperactive, so it was
Mhm.
basically like an overdrive. So they found out I had hyperthyroidism,
Mhm.
specifically Graves' disease, which is
Mhm.
like a type of hyperthyroidism. So, um, but I was glad, like, I had finally found an answer, and like basically at that point, when we found that out, they gave me like beta blockers to help with like the palpitations. So like
Mhm.
so I wouldn't feel like, okay, like my heart's gonna explode. Like the beta blockers would help with that, just because like they actually like work, on the heart, and they help with blood pressure and stuff.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, so that was nice. But after, I don't know like the exact time frame, but after that, after I got the beta blockers, I had to wait 3 months to go into like to go see an endocrinologist for my thyroid.
Mm.
So basically, the the beta blockers were only masking like the symptoms. So basically, I for like 3 months, like my thyroid was probably getting worse.
Aw.
So that's when I kind of realized, like, oh, like this this medical system's like screwed up. Like I felt like I was like gonna die, or like literally, like, right, like, because
Mhm.
when I found out like something was wrong, it's like, oh, like I couldn't go in tomorrow and get the medicine for it. Like I had to wait 3 whole months, because like there's not enough like endocrinologists, or there's like too many people scheduled ahead of me. So I think that was like kind of just eye opening. Like, wow, like
Wow.
the medical system like needs to be better, And I'm not
Mhm.
like, right, like I don't know everything about it, but like nobody should have to like wait to get like the help you need.
Medicine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially because like if you don't like actually take care of your thyroid, like, and it like completely goes out of whack, like you can just like die, because like your
Mhm.
thyroid like affects everything
Mhm.
like in your
Mhm.
body. So,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
yeah. So that happened, and so then I waited the 3 months. Um, finally got the thyroid medicine. So basically they said like, I think like they said if you they said after like 5 or 6 months of the thyroid medicine, like you would, basically they said like I would my thyroid levels would get to normal, so I'd have stable levels, and basically they said, after that, then my symptoms should go away. So like I shouldn't have any more heart palpitations. Like I should feel like normal again. Like I should feel like the way I did, like in the previous years, like a healthy, young guy, athletic, So, but then we got to that like 5, 6 month mark of like being on the thyroid medicine, and um, I still had like the symptoms, I still
Mhm.
felt like because basically at that point, like because I used to like run a lot. I used to do a lot of cardio. I like stopped running because if I tried to like actually go run, like it would feel like my heart was like gonna explode,
Mm.
So I basically stopped running. Um, yeah, I just kind of, I don't know. It was definitely like tough mentally, because like I
Mhm.
guess like at that point I was asking God like why, like what,
Mhm.
like this doesn't even make sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I got to that 5, 6 month mark, went back to the doctors, and um like basically they were like, okay, well, like if basically they told me, okay, well, like I went to the cardiologist, and they're like, okay, this is like a thyroid issue, because basically like they said like, okay, your heart's like healthy, like we can't do anything for you. So they said go to endocrinology, right? The thyroid people, and then endocrinology. When I went to them, they're like, okay, well, this is like a heart issue, like everything's good. So they said go to the cardiology people. So basically, like both sides said, like we can't do anything for you. Like the other side has to help you. So both sides said that. So at that point, I was like, I'm screwed. Like I'm like actually like
What do I believe?
I'm like actually like
Yeah.
screwed for life. Like I have this for life. And basically they said like, if they said you can go into remission for Graves' disease, but they said it's like if you don't go into remission, like basically within that first year, that 5 to 6 months, like you probably just have it for life. So basically I have to take like like the thyroid meds for life, and I'm
Mhm.
assuming I'm just gonna take the beta blockers for
Mm.
life, just to help with like the blood pressure, the palpitations. Um, yeah, so basically at that point I was like, I mean, like I guess it sucks when you go to the doctor and they're like we can't do anything for you. Like we did everything we can do, and um, yeah, so
Oh, that's
that's
hard.
that's kind of like basically like kind of within that period of time in my life. That's when I mean I was definitely upset. I was definitely like questioning a lot of things right, like why, like God, like why would you allow this,
Mm-hmm.
like um yeah, I mean definitely very like depressing time, very tough time. Like I almost dropped out of school. I told my mom, I was like I don't want to like if I have to live like this, like why am I even like gonna go to school, or like why am I
Mm-hmm.
even like doing anything? And like I mean she like got mad or whatever, but she told me like, hey, like you should at least try, like
Mm-hmm.
go up to Morris, like, and because like basically I did online for a year and a half like through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So because came back, got sick, so then I just stayed there for a year and a half. So then I actually I took my mom's advice, my parents' advice, and I was like, okay, I'll try like this next semester. I'll try to go on campus and actually go back up to Morris. So that spring of 2022, I think I went up. Pretty sure if I'm getting the years right, but
2022.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
assuming. So yeah, because fall 2020, then that'd be spring of 2021. So I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for fall of 2021, but spring of 2022, I came up to Morris.
Okay.
So that would be like a year and a half not on campus,
Yeah.
basically.
Wow.
So yeah, spring of 2022, I went up to Morris, um, found InterVarsity, well, because I actually had met like Aaliyah, somebody who used to be in InterVarsity. I'd met
Mm-hmm.
her actually my freshman year, so in fall of 2020, I met her, and then went up to Morris. She reached out. She's like, "Hey, like come out to university or whatever." Or maybe I like reached out to her, just like text her or something. I don't know, but um, yeah. Then I went out to university, and basically I've been involved ever since. And
Wow.
um, yeah, it's definitely been a huge like help in my faith. Just having
Yeah.
like good believers to be around, good community, a lot of Bible studies. So actually just getting in the word and actually diving in deep and actually kind of figuring out like the context and like, okay, what does this mean, how do we apply this to our
Mm-hmm.
lives, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So yeah, so basically in that period of time where I was like just trying to like figure everything out, like like basically I think through all of that, I've said this a couple of times, I think through all of that, I think God was telling me like, hey, come back to me,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like return to your first love, in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
um because like I'd always believed, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess like being a high schooler, being a young guy, like I didn't always like follow, like what the Bible taught or what Jesus taught, and
Mm-hmm.
um, right, like it. I mean, I think like a lot of teenagers like okay, like whatever, they'll.
Mm-hmm.
I think like I think when you grow up in it, it's just kind of like yeah, I believed it, but like I wanted to. I mean, like the worldly things are enticing, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
you know, I believe the Bible, but like I didn't always act like I believed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believed in Jesus, I just didn't always act like I did. And I mean that was especially true as I just got older. Because I used to go to like a private Christian school, like K through
Oh,
8.
wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, but like after that, I went to public high school, and um, yeah, I mean I'd say like I was I say I was like saved, like it's not about like what we do, but I was definitely like a misguided Christian,
Mm-hmm.
or I mean I was definitely like, but I mean I was just like a teenager, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if you expect like a teenage guy to act like Christ like all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like you're mistaken. You're mistaken. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean I'd say like yeah, I was kind of I always believed, but I wasn't really like acting like I did. Then, like basically, my whole world came crashing down. Cause I when I came up to Morris in fall of 2020, actually, like I was like, okay, like I want to like, I was actually trying to like do the right things. I was trying to like actually follow God a little bit better, just
Mm-hmm.
because like with COVID, I think COVID was like a wake up call for me, but also like with the world, just
Yeah.
because like
A lot of
I mean,
people.
a lot of people were
Mhm.
scared, and a lot of people didn't know what was gonna happen, and like governments were acting weird and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
I think that was somewhat of a wake up call, and I think I started to kind of like get like deeper into my faith at that point. But when when I thought I was like literally going to die, like when my heart felt like it was going to explode, right? Like when I felt like it was all over,
Mhm.
that's when I turned to God, because that was the only thing I knew I could do, or that like nobody else could help me. The doctors
Yeah.
couldn't help me, like my parents couldn't help me. Like nobody could help me. Like I was like
Mhm.
searching the internet. I was like, okay, like what is this problem? What is this problem? Like has anybody else experienced this? And um right, like if you gave me $1 billion today, that couldn't solve my problem. Like I it'd be great financially. I could go buy a house, go buy a car, go do whatever, but
Mhm.
like you could give me all the money in the world and like
Heal you.
that wouldn't like make my thyroid better. That wouldn't like make like my heart feel normal. That like wouldn't
Mhm.
make me feel like healthy.
Mhm.
So
Do you still struggle with like heart palpitations from time to time?
yeah, yeah. The beta blockers definitely help, but I don't know. I think it's just something that I just have to like deal with, because like I, I think my thyroid just exaggerates like everything, like with my, I don't know, cardiovascular system, like just like my
Mhm.
heart and my blood pressure and stuff. But because there's definitely other symptoms you can have,
Mm.
like with like hyperthyroidism, but I got the one that's like probably the worst, honestly. Like I wish I had like some other symptom or something, because I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh.
But no, like I
It's like
still,
too extra.
yeah, it's I mean it's a lot, but
Uh-huh.
I've learned to deal with it. And
Mhm.
right, if this didn't happen to me, I would not be as close to God as I am today.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely thankful that God has pushed me closer to him.
Mm.
But I mean I still wonder, like, God, like does it really have to be this way, or like why did it have to be this way? But I know, like, I don't know, he's greater, and he knows what's best, and he's the perfect author, the
Mhm.
author of perfection. And um yeah, so I'm thankful that I'm closer to him. But I think it sucks that it had to be this way. But
Mhm.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, like, hopefully I've inspired people, because I gave my testimony like last spring or
Mhm.
whatever. So that's when I like,
That was the first time
well,
I knew about it.
that's the first time anybody in that room had
Yeah.
heard it, actually, because I
Uh-huh.
always kept it low key, because it was like, I don't like, I never wanted people to like worry about, me, or like feel bad for me, because like, right, if I wasn't me, like if I was you, like I would feel bad for me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like I never wanted people to feel bad for me, because it was like it was nobody's fault. It's God allowed it to happen. And
Mhm.
um maybe in a way I deserve it. I definitely used to be, like worldly, and I
Well,
definitely, I don't know. I guess we all like all deserve it, but like, I don't know.
and I mean, God does allow things, but I
Yeah.
don't think he necessarily like causes illness.
Well, we've talked about this.
We
We've
have,
talked about,
we have.
I mean,
I was never.
he has struck people with illnesses before in the Bible, and done things because, they haven't listened. And
I don't think for in your case, like he struck you with this disease.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
It went
but
like,
like,
I guess I'm saying like it wouldn't be wrong of him to, right? Like I'm closer to him now. Like it was all for like a better purpose.
mhm.
So like I can't be mad at God, because like I would say I was like saved, like, like as like 18-year-old Joseph. I would say I was saved. I was definitely,
Mhm.
not, my faith wasn't as genuine, or like my faith
Yeah.
wasn't as like strong. But um now I'm like so much closer. So
Praise God for that.
yeah, yeah. But
Um, it talks about like Paul talks about how he had a thorn in his flesh. I
mhm.
forget what. Do you know what passage of scripture that's in?
I know what you're talking
I
about.
feel like is it like Second Corinthians?
I don't know
Um,
what the exact like
well, maybe put it on the
meaning of it
screen,
is.
but
I don't know.
I
But
mean, because he talks about I cried out to the Lord 3 times to take this away. We don't know what necessarily
yeah,
it was. Like historians or scholars think that maybe it was like his eyesight, because he wrote in another letter to one of the churches that um, he's like, you can see I'm writing in these big letters. Um, so like a lot of people think that maybe it's like his eyesight because he was blinded by the Lord when when Jesus came to him when he said, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? He was blinded for 3 days. And so like I personally think that maybe it was um an eye issue. Like he didn't have glasses or like he was almost blind. Um and people talk about how like everyone has their own thorn in the flesh that the Lord won't take away, but you have to lean on him to give you strength, and that's something that you have to deal with. For some people it's like anxiety. I've heard that people have like really bad anxiety and like they've asked the Lord to take that away, and he won't necessarily, because he wants us to lean on him. um or like even speech, like being able to speak clearly and confidently, um whatever it could be. And so maybe the thorn in your flesh is your disease, and you have to you're like, yeah. um
so it seems like
like, so I think it's not unusual for the Lord to cause us to have to lean on him for for all we got, because we are dealing with these bodies that aren't working the way that we want them to work and to the best of their ability. So thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable in that. And
yeah.
um because I know it's not easy to talk about your struggles.
Thanks for watching episode 27 of the Morris InterVarsity Podcast. If you want to see the next half of the conversation, go to episode 28. Again, thanks for watching, and Jesus loves you.